Hey Kay, thank you so much for joining us on Black Ink Cinema podcast. It's absolutely amazing to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Especially the fact that you're like super busy and managed to stay busy in this insane time for everyone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, things are opening up now, isn't it? So I saw if you were out during bank holiday weekend, you see people kissing strangers and stuff. So
It was a vibe.
I saw vomit on the streets again. I was like, nature is healing. Yeah, I saw more vomit marks than I was expecting, to be fair, on the floor.
There was definitely something in the air, and I think
that was freedom, and that was what was in the air, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So over this crazy period, did you do any like Zoom gigs or?
I didn't do any Zoom gigs. No, I was doing a lot more writing work and stuff, which was a blessing. But yeah, the idea of doing comedy into a camera with nobody present really didn't. Yeah, I really couldn't get to turn. But no disrespect to anybody that did it. There were some really amazing ones, but I don't think I would have been good at them personally. So I just refrained from doing them.
Yeah. So have you found getting back into the swing of things?
I haven't. My first gig was yesterday on Mock the Week, which was weird. Like I've been on stage in like 6-7 months.
God.
Yeah. So yeah, first gig back on national telly was certainly an experience. But yeah, I mean, look, it's all right. I just think I've got that same thing that everybody has, that bit of social anxiety about.
Yes.
Oh, I just want to, like, do you know what it is, right? I'm just remembering how expensive things are. I mean, like, you just go out and it's just like, wait. Why is the chips that expensive? What? Like, hold on, a pizza's about 14 quid. Nah.
I've been dying to get out, and it's like the first that weekend, I was like, oh, life is too expensive. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Ubers everywhere. Eating out, drinks are expensive. I'm like, what? Do they always cost this much? Or
and then when you're out, you're just like, you know what? Fuck this, and then you just do it. Like, do you know what I mean? You just pay for it. You end up paying for it, and then you look back at it later, and you're like, oh, that wasn't even worth it. You know?
It's the morning after when you like look at all the transactions on your phone, and you're like, what? No,
you're gonna call the bank up and go, I think I cloned or something.
That wasn't me.
Yeah.
Have you found is the energy different? Are people more excited? Like, I just feel like everyone's a little bit more optimistic in everything.
I mean, to be fair, I've heard like a few comics saying that they've had like rowdy audiences and stuff, and I think people have just forgotten how to act.
I did think that we need to be retrained, because I'm not quite sure what etiquette is.
Yeah.
In public anymore.
But also, I just don't think I don't think if you're dying to get out and party, the first thing you should do is go to a comedy show. Like, like if you want to see your mates, go to a pub or something. Like, comedy show is good for you. But yeah, I mean, look, it's just great seeing people back to normal. It's great seeing people out and about and hanging out with each other and stuff. I mean, I like a year and a half inside is just not good for anybody's mental health. And
no.
Now that the weather's perking up again, I can't wait to see like what we like. It feels like we've lost 2 years of our lives. So
I've definitely lost 2 years of my life. Yeah. My birthday was the day after the first lockdown. So
yeah. Well, yeah, I had 2 lockdown birthdays as well. So I went in at 29, came out at 31. Like,
it's just so unfair. It's not like they get to freeze that, you know. You've lost
exactly.
time.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I need to make up for lost time, essentially.
For sure. What other projects are you working on at the moment?
Do you know what? Like, I've got a tour coming up in the end of the year, and I've got a couple of things in development, but you know what it's like with TV and stuff. Like, things can be in development forever, but we'll see how things go, man. Just like bits and pieces, a couple of TV appearances here and there, and that's it, really. Yeah.
Do you prefer TV appearances to live gigs or vice versa?
It's just a different thing, to be honest with you. Like live comedies. It's amazing when you've got like an idea and you can say what you want, and do you know what I mean? Like, you've got an idea and you work on it and it makes people laugh, which is great. With a lot of TV, for example, you don't really have control of what gets put in, what doesn't get put in and stuff. So it's a bit different in that respect, and it's not instant feedback. It's more like people seeing it 6 months down the line going, oh, you were really funny on blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you've moved on.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's just a different thing. I enjoy all of it, to be fair. Like, I think it's a very privileged position to be in. So I'd be very disrespectful to be like, nah, it's terrible.
It's your opinion.
It's great. Like, I mean, listen, it beats working a day job. So
100%. Yes. You are winning.
Yeah.
So who are your comedy inspirations?
Mainly Americans. So like I used to love watching Eddie Murphy, Chappelle, Bill
Mm.
Burr. In recent years, he's been a massive I just like he's probably one comedian, or probably the only comedian I'd say, bar Dave Chappelle, who I run to for us when they got a new special out.
Yeah.
I just he's phenomenal. Um, and then if we're talking about the UK, I think Kevin Bridges is probably the best talent we've produced on this side of the shores
Okay.
forever. Yeah.
It's always, yeah, you kind of get some of the same people, but also it's nice to hear the new names or like what inspires people. So it's really nice to.
Yeah, like I mean, when I was younger, it was a lot of Chris Rock and stuff. But yeah, like Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, Chappelle,
Mm.
and Bill Burr, probably I'd say the four that,
Yeah.
yeah, like that made me go, yeah, that's where I want to be at.
Cool. And before we get into your very amazing film choice that you chose, what films did you love watching growing up?
Do you know what? I used to watch a lot of like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Arnold Schwarzenegger films, that kind of stuff. Karate Kid, um, Disney films. Lion King. I think I watched Lion King 100 times.
Didn't we all?
Yeah, Pocahontas.
Oh, that's new. Haven't heard a guy say Pocahontas.
Oh yeah, no, we watched Pocahontas, The 101 Dalmatians. Yeah, a lot of the Disney films, to be fair, Toy Story and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the other films as well, like I was saying, like the action films. A lot of the action films of the 80s and 90s.
Do you have an older sibling? Because that's
No,
why
no, no.
I'm. Oh, you just off your own back.
Yeah,
Just...
well, my dad wouldn't mind letting us
okay.
watch it. So it'd be like, oh, it's an Arnold film. Do you want to watch it? And we're like, yeah,
Yeah.
cool, whatever.
And they were fine with you, all the violence and everything.
Well, I mean, they came from a place where violence was happening in real life. So seeing it on TV was, yeah, it's whatever. It's entertainment. I think, like, we turned out fine. Look at me now.
Fine, we're okay for now.
Yeah, it's like I didn't go out stabbing anyone or killing anyone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it was. I think to them it was just entertainment in it. So it was like, yeah, why not watch it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the Rocky films as well.
Yeah, because I had an older brother, he would just obviously control the telly, so we could only watch whatever he watched, and he was obsessed with those type of like action movies and like muscly men and very macho.
Yeah, man, come on, man! Like, there's nothing wrong with a muscly man, you know. Like,
I mean, I wasn't complaining. I was like, okay, fine.
Don't let anybody tell you any different. I know these days, like, some people take the mick out of people that work out, but honestly, like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with those guys. All right.
No problem over here. But before we go into your movie, do you want to share your social media handles for people to follow?
Everything is KAEKURD. Go on Kae Kurd everywhere. TikTok. The only place I'm probably not is like Tinder and Bumble and that, but everywhere else is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah.
Okay, so Black Ink Cinema is all about celebrating all things Black cinema, and you chose one of my favorite Eddie Murphy movies, which we screened actually last year live. And for those of you who haven't seen it, it's about two kind of guys who are pushed together, who get stitched up on a murder and end up doing life in prison. And it just takes them on that journey and kind of lost them in relationship that they have and bickering relationship as well, all at the same time. Right. So why did you choose Life?
Do you know what? It's one of those films that I just go, like, if I can't find anything to watch, I'll go back to it. You know, you always have a comfort sort of film where it's like, it's an easy watch. It's got moments where it's funny, really funny. It's got moments where it makes you a little sad. It has you reflecting on certain things, and then it's got moments like it's an actual story as well, and you're engrossed in it as well. So and you know what? It doesn't have any unnecessary sex scenes in it and stuff. Like nowadays, you'll be watching like a series or a film, and it's just like 30 minutes in, it's like, yeah, we could do this, but first, let's start banging each other on the table. And you're like, whoa, what does this add to the plot?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have any of that.
No.
But yeah, it's just like Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, probably two of the best comic actors of their generation.
Yeah.
And the storyline is it's brilliant. It, like I said, it goes up and down. It takes you on different things, and you got like the legendary Bernie Mac in it.
Yeah, the cast is insane. And I have to say, like you, even though for a film that's filled of like misfortune and trauma, Eddie's got such a good way of like, he has the ability of bringing humor to even the saddest moments.
Well, yeah. Especially like I used to but I just think Eddie Murphy was just one of those naturally funny people. Like I remember watching do you ever watch Beverly Hills Cop?
Did I? That's my film. Like those even 3, okay, that's how bad I am. Like
yeah, but I think it was Beverly Hills Cop 2 where it was like, I smell pork in here. I used to be Muslim. Allahu Akbar. Like, and all of that sort of stuff. Like,
yeah.
Like, you were like, that's Eddie Murphy, man. That's not even
100%. No one wrote that.
Yeah, that's natural. Like, nobody wrote that in there. Like,
yeah,
that was like something that they probably improv and they were like, yeah, keep that in there. That's great, kind of thing. And I think like he's able to make those moments in the film. Like, there's bits in the film where you look at it and you're like, yeah, I mean, I can't imagine any other actor playing that role.
100%.
It was one of those, and both of them, they made the role their own. I think
it's such a great
duo,
partnership.
Yeah, I prefer that duo to him and Will Smith.
Ooh, you're hurting my heart there a little bit, I've got to say. I love Bad Boys.
Why?
Bad Boys is my movie. Like one.
You watched Bad Boys 3?
Yeah, I did.
Exactly. There you go.
We're not going to talk about that. That doesn't exist. Like, that didn't happen. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
When you watch Bad Boys 3, it sort of like desecrates the legacy, doesn't it? So
100%. And I'm still mad at everyone involved for doing that to me. But no, I think both pairs are different.
Oh, I will save this argument for another time, but yeah, I think this partnership's a better one than Will Smith and Martin. I think there's just something naturally funny about Eddie Murphy that no one can replicate. There's nobody out there that can replicate it. It's just, he's one of a kind, man. He's truly one of. I remember I was watching an interview with him and Arsenio Hall recently, with Kevin Hart and. No, I was listening to it, sorry. And he was, they were talking about lockdown and gigging in car parks and stuff, like doing outdoor gigs. And Arsenio Hall was like, I was going to do a couple. He's like, Eddie, are you going to do a couple? And Eddie looked at him, he's like, I'm Eddie motherfucking Murphy. I'm not going to gig in a car park. You motherfucker, I haven't done stand-up in over 30 years. And you think first gig I'm going to come back and do a motherfucking car park? I'm Eddie Murphy. And I was just laughing my head off. It's just like something, him just answering a question could be made. Like,
100%.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I like how Eddie was like the hustler, like very cool, snazzy one. And Martin was like grumpy duo. And it was, I think a lot of people kind of based a buddy duo on a lot of films like that. Like you always have one that's like a bit more slick, and then you have like the nerdy one. And it's funny because Martin played that one. And
I mean, he sort of plays that in Bad Boys as well, doesn't he?
Yes.
He sort of plays that grumpy role as well. But it's better than what they used to do when they get the black guy being the cool guy and then get some white guy going, hey man, can you teach me how to dance?
Oh God,
I really like this black
really
girl.
Going there. You're really going.
Do you remember that trash that they used to sell us for a while?
Oh my God.
Like they'll be like, hey man, there's this black girl I really like. Man, you ain't got no rhythm, man. That's why you need to move like this. And then they'll be like this.
I think it was a 90s thing, but there's people that have said stuff like that to me now in like recent years. So.
Yeah, because they grew up watching them films.
It's like, this is not okay. I'm not going to teach you how to Dougie.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I think like you'd have thought after Save the Last Dance and all those Channing Tatum and Jessica Alba films where they were dancing, people would stop doing that. But regardless, like I think Martin's great at that role. I think to be fair, watching him in Bad Boys 3, I was like, there's not a lot of acting involved in this, is it? This is just you're just grumpy now, isn't it?
It was just painful. Honestly, it really upset me, and I try not to talk about it because
do you know what? Yeah, I respect Martin Lawrence so much, but while he was doing the press for that last film, I was just like, this looks like a man that's totally given up.
He's at the end, you know. He always just like,
I don't even think he's at the end. I just think he's just like, I'm rich, man. Why am I doing this? Do you know what I mean? Do you know when like we're like you I've never got to that level, but I think it's one of those ones where, you know, when you want to call in sick to work. But I imagine that's what it's like being rich and you don't need to work. You just want to call in sick for everything. Yeah.
You're just like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, he was.
Or like when you've got 2 weeks left at a job and you're just like, oh, don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Once you've handed in your notice. But yeah, it's like he had the glasses on and he was just like, yeah, thank you. Okay. Like,
just let Will do all the talking.
Yeah, exactly. Just, you do this now. The only people sort of really master that duo in comedy films recently has probably been Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart. And their chemistry comes along in their interviews more so. But I'm not really a massive fan of the films that they've made together.
I hate them. Like, Jumanji upset me growing up on Jumanji original.
The original Jumanji was sublime, yeah.
It's just one of the best things. Like, just leave it, you know? You don't need to. And it was just, I sometimes feel like Kevin is just playing Kevin. And
but there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's funny.
Yeah, but not in every film.
Yeah, but like, listen, man, this is what I get annoyed when people say certain things, right? What are you expecting in it? Like, it's like when people watch the Fast and Furious films and go, yeah, but it's ridiculous. It's like, bro, order McDonald's. You don't complain that it's not Michelin star food in it. You go, this is McDonald's. It's doing what I want it to for the time being. So when you watch Fast and Furious films, when you watch Kevin Hart films or whatever, you're watching it for a purpose. I'm not watching a Kevin Hart film to get Oscar nominated storytelling. Yeah.
No, yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, brilliant.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm just not, and it's funny because like The Rock, is more. He's kind of himself in all of his movies. Like, he's playing this muscly, like, cool guy, just saves the day, gets the girl. But like, I would rather watch a film with The Rock in it than one with Kevin Hart. That's my humble opinion.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think they do the duo thing well. I'm talking about people in recent years. I can't think of another duo that have probably done it.
I'll have a think. Adam, get on it. Let's hear some duos and we'll go back.
I can't like if you can find they don't really make films like that anymore, do they?
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Like the Lethal Weapons and all of those type of movies.
I mean, unless they start remaking.
I don't like remakes. Please don't. But actually, considering how the film's about Eddie and Martin spending 60 years in prison together, if you had to pick one other comedian to spend 60 years in prison with, who would it be?
There isn't a single soul. There isn't a single soul in comedy that I'd spend that long with.
No? Okay, maybe just in general. Would there be someone that you can tolerate for that long?
No.
Nice.
This is why I'm not married.
Fair enough.
I don't think you should be spending that long with anybody. Jesus Christ. Like, that 60 years is a long time. Even throughout the film, I swear there's like a 30-year span where they don't talk to each other.
Yes.
Yeah. So that goes to show, like, there is no one you can spend that length of time with. There was other people they were talking to during that time.
Yeah, of course. They were there and spent the same amount of time, I guess, but it was about their friendship. Yeah,
their friendship, it got ruined halfway through. So they start talking to each other until he had to get a gun. He had to point a gun at him and shoot him.
Martin.
For Martin. Martin ran to eat the pie.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
got triggered.
Yeah, he got he was like, sometimes there's a thought, a memory, or even a smell that take it back to the time. And then he ran for the pie, and he was like, all you gotta do is shooting, and that by I'd walk you out right outside of this myself. And he's just like, boss, you don't want to give that to me.
Yeah.
Because I probably shoot you with it.
I love the fact you know it word for word. It's giving me so much life.
Yeah, and then he goes, that wasn't the answer I was looking for. And then you just see them both on the bottles and whatever.
And then they make up, and it's quite...
Yeah, and he's just like, I'm sorry about your mama. I'm sorry about your papa, kind of thing. And it's just like,
even though she died 5 years ago, but yeah.
Yeah, kind of thing. Yeah. You know, one of my funniest bits in that film is where he's like, one of them's like, I got this letter. Can you read it for me?
Yes, that is one of my favorite scenes.
Jagaleg.
Jagaleg.
Yeah,
the other guy gets him to read it.
Yeah, and he goes, can you read this for me? And then it's just like, oh yeah, your auntie dead, your mama dead, oh, and your brother, oh, he dead, kind of thing. And then anybody else want me to read a letter from? No.
No, thank you. We don't want any bad news. And even the way Eddie reads that letter is so brilliantly done. Like he just keeps, it's so natural, and it doesn't really feel like he's like reading or something, but he just seems so natural, and that's why it's so funny.
100%. The bit in the canteen with the cornbread.
Yeah, that's so good. That's actually so good.
Cornbread.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm fighting everyone for my food. Like, I take my food very serious. So
what, in prison or just in general?
Just in general. In prison, I won't even last a day in prison. I'm not even gonna front for anyone.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say many people have said that, and then they get there.
No, I would definitely.
People are like, and then they're looking at them like, "You don't want potatoes, do you, bruv?" And then, no, I didn't. No,
I did take it, eat it, have everything.
No carbs before. Yeah.
Yeah. Before I come out, it's fine. I'm just gonna. You can have it all.
But yeah, there's just so many scenes in there. My favorite scene is there's so many favorite scenes in there. But there was another one with where he's describing his nightclub, Ray's Boom Boom Boom.
Oh, that was such a nice scene, actually. How everyone kind of got on board as well.
Yeah. And then everyone's getting on board, and he's like, "Shut the fuck up, man! Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit."
Yeah, always grumpy, Martin.
Yeah.
100%. And of course, they've got such a great supporting cast in there. Who were your favorites, or did you have any?
To be fair, like it's always great seeing Bernie Mac, because you don't see him I mean, R.I.P. But we didn't see him in a lot of films.
Yeah.
So, but he played that role so well.
I have to say, like, every time I watch it, I cry and laugh all at the same time, because he just plays it so brilliantly, and yeah, he's just fantastic.
Yeah, the facial his eyes were very expressive. He could do a lot with his eyes.
Even the little subtle body movements that he would do that would just imply something.
Yeah. But I mean, even when he was playing that character, it was obviously a comic character that they've got, but the fact that he obviously had a relationship with another man.
Yeah, Biscuit.
Yeah, and then when he runs and he's shot, and you see the emotions that he has towards he's walking towards the body, and you can tell he's quite emotional. And don't get me wrong, it's one thing for an actor to play an emotional scene, but it's another thing for an actor to play a scene like that when they're playing that sort of character that's designed for some sort of comic effect.
I definitely feel like they handled that gay relationship really well. Like, you could see it wasn't over the top, but they were able to show like the emotion, and the fact that Biscuit couldn't imagine a life outside of here. Like, he wouldn't probably know what to do with himself, so he'd rather commit suicide essentially than
100%, 100%. Well, I mean, things like that are so prevalent still to this day in our society, where there's a lot of people that because they become so accustomed to prison life and within that sort of system that this is turned into a whole different podcast, but
it's all right.
Well, instead of actually reforming people, we're just punishing them. So you're not getting any sort of rehabilitation, and you're not providing or equipping people the skills that they need when they come out. So they end up just learning how to survive, which is a very dark place to be in, and you could tell that with that, like the anxiety. It's not even just anxiety; it's terror at the fact that if I come out of here, what the hell am I going to do? Like, and I mean, in that scene where Martin Lawrence's character has to drive the prison warden to the train station to pick up
Yeah.
He's just looking around at how much life has changed, and he's seeing people with like different hairstyles and different, like, do you know what I mean? The world's
Yeah, the
changed
time's moved so far ahead, like, and
100%.
he's just been standing still, and you
Exactly, and
kind of
it's
don't realize it.
yeah, yeah, exactly, and it's like, yeah, we were talking earlier about how mad it is for us, like during lockdown, where we feel like we've been robbed of a couple of years of our life
Yeah.
while we still have access to that, or a phone a lot of the time. So they're just sort of just, yeah, it's a much weirder place to be in. But we're I mean, it's interesting the periods it takes you through there as well in that film, where to begin with they're essentially just, you know, slave labor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is what they sort of like how they sort of treated it. And then like moving forward at how like the prison system's changed, but not a lot
Mm.
has changed anyway. but
Yeah, I mean,
but how
yeah.
it changes throughout time in that film as well. I think they did that in a really nice way as well.
Yeah, no, for real. And then we're able to add some history elements in there so you can
Yeah,
see the moving of the times. And I that part was like really, it broke my heart when like Martin Lawrence is having a bit of a dramatic moment, looking in the mirror, seeing how old he's actually got. Because you probably think there's no mirrors in prison, I'm guessing there. So he hasn't actually seen how he's aged. And it's the 70s, so things are wild, you know. It's
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. But also like even the bit with can't get right.
yes,
Yeah, where they're
can't
trying
get
to
right.
can't get right. Yeah,
I love
can't
that
get
name.
right. Where he's obviously at the time they
Mm,
didn't have mixed baseball leagues,
yes.
and I think in that one it's they're just starting to, or I think he was just getting into a black baseball league or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's mad that you know you start thinking about that as well. You're like, oh, like they weren't even. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? The stats, like the stats they were putting up, weren't even considered, kind of thing. And it's just, yeah, it's mental. But like again, how if you're good at a sport,
You get a
um,
bly.
you get a blind in a lot of things in life, but also it's I think it was also quite symbolic in the fact that often what we hear is that for a black man in America, the only way out is either music or sports.
Yeah.
For Can't Get Right, like quite literally, his way out was through sports. Like this
Yeah, yeah.
guy that,
And he's the exception.
yeah, he couldn't speak.
Mm.
He couldn't speak, but due to the fact he had this unbelievable talent, he was able to get out, and people worked for him to get out.
Yeah, yeah.
He also provided us with one of the best moments in that film as well.
Yes, he did. I have to say the film does tackle race quite well with a mix of humor. Like it doesn't feel as heavy as, you know, some like race related movies. It's set in the deep
Yeah,
south in the 30s. You know, they are set up, they're made to go to prison for something they didn't do, absolutely innocent. I'm very sure
yeah.
there's millions of people that's
Well,
happened.
it's subtlety, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
subtlety, and that's where I think a lot of you get a lot of success in a lot of different things. It's like learning by stealth.
Mm.
You see where I'm coming from, and I think that was amazing. But even the way they made it, like the characters at the beginning that catch him, they're like very like, "What's going on here, boy?" Like just very like slack Geordie Ocals, and
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You
yeah.
see where I'm coming from. Whereas it's not like you said in other like sort of very serious films where it'll be like N word, N word.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
they didn't sort of do like you just like, oh gosh, okay, they're racist. This is unfortunate, kind of thing. But even the fact that he wanted a night with a woman, and do you know what I mean? All of that sort of stuff. It's just,
Mm.
yeah, I just yeah, it's just such an easy watch. But like you said, you learn in it as well, so it's great.
Yeah. Do you think humor is a good way to explore race or talk about racism?
Yeah, 100%, 100%, but just not done in a lazy way.
Yeah, yeah. No, 100. And I think a story like that could be retold now and you wouldn't have to change much because there's a lot of places. I mean, you
But
know.
I mean, listen, we were saying none of us like remakes. Please do not remake this film.
Oh, and I am not advocating for
The
that to
last thing I
happen.
need is a Marlon Wayans remake of this with him
No,
and
no, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying if that story was to be told again,
yeah.
there wouldn't, you know, no time has really passed in the sense of that not much has really
Yeah.
changed. So,
Well, that film was made in 1999.
not, yes.
Yeah, 1999. So
Mm.
Yeah, it's 21 years old now.
Yeah.
Well, 22, sorry, yeah.
And I think it's actually aged quite well, considering there's some films from the 90s, some shows from the 90s that haven't aged
Well, yeah,
quite
I
well.
mean, I think because it's looking back at history. So, there's not like a lot of references that they're making to anything in that particular time. And I think they're very clever with the way it's not making any social commentary on, the 90s or anything like that. It's more just,
Yeah.
and I also think, a lot of old films that haven't stood the test of time were just poorly written.
Lazy.
Yeah, that's what it was. A lot of them were poorly written.
Yeah.
But I love that film, man.
And even the villains in the film, like Sergeant Willard, who is the baddie, but even at the end when he's like getting them shipped out to the house, you see him get a bit emotional, and even that was a bit like, you spend this much time with people, you will
and
have.
And then he dies on a toilet seat. Him?
No, the guy in the
about the actual, yeah. Oh,
the warden.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. Oh yeah. He, of course, like he's. I mean, that's all he knows, isn't it? He knows these people, and I think you do build a relationship with them, and it must have been a weird dynamic, but
yeah.
Yeah, he's grown with them as well. You can see how he's aged while they've aged.
Yeah, I hate the Uncle Tom. You've always got to have one of those, his right hand man who was actually a prisoner but was allowed to carry a gun and like did all his like labor and repeated every single word that he said.
Yeah,
because you do get those, but yeah, that character.
I mean, I'd rather him. His one was a lot more funny than Samuel L. Jackson in
Yes.
What film was that?
Django, wasn't it?
Was it Django with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, Django.
Oh, yeah.
That was Sam J. You played that part too well, actually.
Yeah, because you started believing it.
Like, I was like really hating this guy.
Yeah.
Also, Eddie Murphy's got a thing, and maybe Martin actually, of like doing the makeup thing. They do the aging thing.
Yeah.
Quite well as well.
Eddie's done it like through so many different films. Like,
yes,
people don't understand. Like, even in Coming to America, I don't know if you watch Coming to America 2.
Yeah, also I watched it.
Yeah, that whole film was just like, remember the first one? That was basically that whole film. That was just like,
I just felt like it was a party with friends.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what like they should have done for the Friends reunion. You know what I mean?
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, don't. It was essentially, hey man, remember the first film? That was a good film, wasn't it? But anyway, even in that, like when he dresses up as the old Jewish men and and then he goes into the barbershop and it's just like all the barbershop characters are him, Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the credits in Nutty
Professor and all of that stuff.
But yeah, if you look at the credits in Nutty Professor, just look at how many characters he plays.
Yeah.
Like you just see it goes played by Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy. It is. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's one way to like
get
paid more for your film. To be fair.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, he's been doing that for ages, and even in this film, like once you see them age, I don't even think. Listen, I prefer when they age up characters like that with makeup.
Yes.
The bad CGI jobs they do, like in The Irishman.
Oh, right.
Too, when they done the CGI to make them look younger and stuff as well. Like the reason it annoyed me with The Irishman is because you've made De Niro look younger. Yeah. And he's moving like a 70-year-old man. So it's like this is just doesn't, like, you can't substitute for movement. And another reason that annoyed me was the whole reason we know about De Niro is he played the younger version of Marlon Brando in The Godfather, right? Yeah. So why not just get a younger
I agree with you. I don't know why they do that.
Do you know what I mean? It's just, just give somebody else their big break, like you did your big break.
Exactly.
Like rather than
that was one of my negatives about that film. So I was just like, you guys stop it. Like just hire a younger person. Yeah, like spending all that money on CGI.
Imagine Marlon Brando's younger character. Like it would have just been awful. So yeah, that was what annoyed me about it. But yeah, like when they age them up, it's much easier because you can
Yes.
move like an. When you've got like when you've got like the full capability of moving your limbs how you want to,
Yeah.
very easy to slow them down. Whereas when you start getting back pains and arthritis and stuff, you can't move like you used to, man.
No, not at all. And it just like they did that job so well of like playing grumpy grandparents, as you want to call it, and like because they just reminded me of literally all the old people I know. Like all
Yeah,
they do
yeah,
is
yeah,
moan and whinge.
yeah, yeah. It's like, "Hey, get off my time, that kind of thing. Yeah, it was brilliant. I like the scene where they're playing baseball when they're at the baseball match at the end.
That was quite nice, wasn't
And
it?
then, like, by the time they get up for the Mexican wave, it's already
The wave is long gone.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But they're just happy to be out, which is amazing. Yeah.
And I think that's why I don't mind watching Life over and over again, like yourself. Like it's one of
Yeah.
my go-to films because it has a happy ending, even though it was like there was a lot of shit in the middle and a lot of trauma and heartache. Actually, they got out. I mean,
Well,
there might be 100, but
it's
they got out.
also a story about never giving up.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
like there have been so many people in their position that have been like,
Yeah.
oh man, this is it. I'm gonna die in here, kind of. Which probably times they did. We're gonna do the hot bar room. A hot
You
bar
know that bit when
room.
that
A
guy
hot
does
bar
die on the
room.
toilet?
Yeah.
I was like, these guys can't catch a break. It's
Well,
like,
but that's it.
God.
But it's very. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many lessons to be learned from that film, and it's like, is that they find a way to escape when they're like, you'd think,
Giving up.
on the last stretch kind of
Yeah.
thing. But they finally find one plan that works, and they get it over and done with. But someone once said to me, "Life's like a game of snakes and ladders. It's just about how many times you're willing to throw the dice."
Oof.
So
Okay.
yeah, like essentially, nobody really loses in snakes and ladders.
Yeah.
It's just
Getting back up.
if you get as many goes as you want, like you can go all the way up. So yeah, they prove that.
I will take that away with me as well. Now going, I'll say one time I was talking to Kae and it stuck with me.
I wish I was that wise, to be fair, to have come up with it.
It's fine, I'll just say you said it. It's all right. Give it the
Bigger.
props. I know you mentioned that you preferred this couple, Eddie and Martin, over Martin and Will, but where do you rank this in all of like Martin Lawrence's performances?
I'd say this is probably one of his best films, to be fair.
Mm.
Like, I mean, you're going against that Robin Hood film and Blue Streak.
No comment.
I like that Robin Hood film, though. You know which one I'm talking about? I swear it's that Robin Hood where he goes back in time, or it's A Knight's Tale or something.
Oh, the Black Knight?
Yeah, it's something like that, innit?
And it had to be called The Black Knight as well. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, that or Blue Streak and the Bad Boy films. I reckon. Do you know what? As much as I love Bad Boys 1 and 2, I can't watch Bad Boy 1 like as much as I can watch it live.
Okay. See, how you watch Life is how I watch Bad Boy 1.
I prefer Bad Boys 2, you know.
It's a bit more exciting because there's so much more like guns and car chases and blah blah. So it like I have to focus.
Yeah, but also like I feel like the characters were already established, and they were able to have a lot more fun with it.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Like even the scene where I just came out of prison. And I ain't going back when he's got a gun around and he's waving.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about when his daughter comes to the door, like his daughter's boyfriend
comes to the door. Yeah, like Reggie. Like you ever smoke drugs or you think kind of thing. Keep it that way.
Bitch, get out the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it all as well. Like that's my word for word.
Yeah, but I feel like Bad Boys 2 is a much better film than Bad Boys 1. Like that. Yeah, that's probably my unpopular opinion. So for me, if we're ranking Martin Lawrence films, it'd go Life, then Bad Boys 2 and Bad Boys 1.
Okay, no, that's a good ranking.
It's bad that I can't remember any other films that Martin Lawrence has been in apart from those 5.
What about Eddie Murphy? Where do you rank this in his filmology?
This is so hard, man. Because Eddie's got classics, man. You're talking about Trading Places,
Yeah.
Boomerang,
Yes.
Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2,
Absolutely.
Nutty Professor 1 and 2,
Yeah.
Coming to America.
Of course.
Nah, man, there's loads. I think this is separate to like Eddie Murphy films. Yeah, like this is an entity in its own where like you have to put with like who he's been paired up with in films. If you're gonna go, was it Dan Aykroyd that he did Trading Places with?
Yes.
Yeah. So like, if you're doing it like that, who he's done a film with as a duo,
Yeah.
that's how you'd have to rank this. Because if you're just doing it on individual Eddie films,
Yeah.
you're not getting far with this one.
Too difficult.
I reckon the reason Martin never made as many great films is because he had one of the best sitcoms in America for ages.
Yes.
So I don't think people on this side of the pond really understand. Like Martin Lawrence's sitcom was huge.
Martin, it was great.
Yeah, and how huge Martin actually was in America at that time.
Yeah.
If you think about him, he was the host of Def Comedy Jam. He would, at the height of his success, like there was nobody bigger. Like even when you hear comedians on podcasts now talk about like when Martin Lawrence would come into a room where you had to follow Martin Lawrence at a club, it was impossible. Like you couldn't do it. So I think that's probably why. And when I say like he's done, like now when I say that, it's like the guy did everything.
He's done everything.
30s.
Yeah.
Like it's what when people talk about Eddie Murphy and go, why doesn't he do stand up? Bro, he was doing arenas at 22.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't quite realize how much he like packed in such a short period of time.
Can you imagine trying to do what you did in your 60s when you were 22? It's just like, bro, I did that when I was 22, bro. Like you want me to do that when I'm at 08 like I don't like doing things.
Slow down.
I'm 31 and I don't like doing the stuff I was doing at 22. So
I'm still recovering from the bank holiday. Okay, yeah, I'm still
coming from. So I don't blame them, man. Like they did what they had to do and they got it out of the way.
Yeah, for sure. So considering that both of them have got quite a good catalogue of movies, I wanted to do a quick fire round with you and ask you your favourites in different genres.
Okay.
And so we'll start off with the drama. Which is your favourite drama film of Eddie's? I don't think Martin's done that many, so I'll say Eddie.
Yeah, it'd probably be Eddie, to be fair. But I mean, has Eddie done much drama? I think Beverly Hills Cop was the closest you probably get to drama.
Is that? That's a comedy action. I mean, he's done that Mr. Church, Dreamgirls, Dolomite's My Name.
Oh, Dolomite. How could I forget Dolomite? Dolomite is comedy as well, though, really.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But
there's nothing really in here that you go, oh, that was... I mean, it's not exactly the Peaky Blinders, is it?
No. No. Not exactly the Peaky Blinders, but there's some really great performances.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I've never watched Dreamgirls, but...
Oh, see, he's really good. I mein, great, he's singing in it and everything, but it's a proper dramatic movie.
You know what? People don't understand Eddie can sing, man.
Oh, yeah.
Red light, stop sign. What's it? No, red light, stop right there where you are. Come on.
Yeah, he's got bars. He's got bars.
And Snoop Dogg comes in when he was Snoop Lion. Oh my God. That was a bad boy film.
It was I really enjoyed Dolomite, honestly. What about favourite action movies for either Eddie or Martin? I think they've got quite a few.
Well, I mean, Martin wins, isn't it? Bad Boys.
Yes. I mean, but Beverly Hills.
Nah, man. Bad Boys.
No?
Bad Boys 2, the scene where he's got the was it the Lamborghini or no? But it's a sports car, isn't it? And then he goes when he's like drifting with it.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's you don't get that in Beverly Hills Cop.
I know, but like, come on. Beverly Hills Cop 2 is like fire. There was just so much.
It is, but Bad Boys 2, if they both came on now, you're watching Bad Boys 2.
Oh, depends. Depends on my night.
I used to have Beverly Hills Cop as my ringtone.
Oh, it's one of the best things. Brilliant.
Yeah.
It brings me so much joy just hearing that. There are a few other classics, 48 Hours, Metro. I mean, we mentioned Blue Streak and National Security, but
Yeah,
what about family/comedy movies? Your favorite for Eddie and your favorite for Martin?
Probably Dr. Dolittle, or what was that film where Eddie Murphy had to be very careful with his words, otherwise, like,
Was it the Thousand Words one?
yeah,
Really? You like that?
where there was this tree in his gun.
You're lying. You're actually lying. I can't. You're lying. That has to be for me one of his worst movies.
Listen, it was so bad. It was.
I was gonna say. We were not. We were gonna.
It was so bad. It was good. Like, just give a you know when you're like, this is awful, but I'm still watching, and I think probably Dr. Dolittle as a family friendly one.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Dolittle. Yeah.
I think for me it would probably be Night Professor, just because it reminded me of a time. It's very nostalgic.
Yeah, but I feel like there's bits in it that I wouldn't let kids watch in Night Professor.
I was definitely maybe not supposed to watch it then, but I'm sure I watched that in the cinema. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. I mean, listen, but this is like, but that's what I'm saying with Dr. Dolittle. I let my kids watch that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I have kids, yeah, I'd let them watch it.
And like, yeah. What about Martin?
What family friendly?
Big Mama's House?
No, I've never watched that.
You've never watched it?
I've never watched Big Mama. Do you know what? It never really appealed to me. I was just like, it was basically like, to me, I was like, I've seen Mrs. Doubtfire.
Which I love.
That's what I'm saying, but it's just like, you're not going to top that, innit?
Yeah, I mean, who's going to top Robin Williams? Do you know what I mean?
But that's it. Like, so the whole dressing up as an old lady comedy thing, I was like, once you've seen the best one, it's like all of them look terrible after it. Do you know what I mean?
To me, like, Big Mama's House 1 was like funny, and then after that, it just becomes it becomes
a Tyler Perry movie after that, isn't it?
I don't do Tyler Perry. Everyone on this podcast knows me. I'm like, I respect him.
Medea's Night Out, yeah. But
I have never watched. I can't deal with those type of films, like overly slapstick films. I'm not.
Yeah. But that's what I felt like Big Mama's House kind of was. I sort of put it in the same sort of.
Okay. What about favorite rom-com for either?
Boomerang.
We're showing that on Friday. We're showing Boomerang on Friday. Fast reading, and I'm really excited.
Boomerang is brilliant, and Halle Berry.
They just had hot women in there. They were just beautiful.
Chris Rock was the male clerk.
Mailman, male guy.
It was just a brilliant film.
Another one with Martin in it. He's the one.
Oh yeah, you're right. Of course. Yeah, why am I being? Yeah. So, for both of them, that rom-com, it'll be. Yeah, because when he's cooking fried chicken and that, and he's out, yeah,
exactly.
That's probably the best one that we'd get in that best rom-com. Yeah, it'll be.
Boomerang.
Boomerang's a great film, man.
Oh,
they don't make them like they used to. I tell you that. Yeah.
No, they don't.
They don't make them like they used to.
They don't, honestly.
Because that one, it was so funny because it is so funny how where memes derive from, because that bit where he's like holding the covers like this. Eddie, that's turned into a meme now.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't even know where it's from, though.
Exactly.
They have no idea.
So there's like Gen Zs out there using that meme, like to go, when you say you want a relationship and she says she just wants to beat and bounce, and they put that in her, and you're like, but you don't even understand, like that's essentially the whole. Yeah. Like, even though you're doing a meme like as that, but that's what the film essentially is. That's that scene. So
you don't get it. They don't get it.
But it's like they've come to the same conclusion just from that meme without watching the film, and it's just like, but watch the film, dickhead. That's. That is.
I can watch that film as well. Another underrated movie, I think, and I think Eddie does really well. It's like learning a lesson.
Well, I mean, but this is my issue when I it's the thing. I feel like back then, even in this country and stuff as well, we'd have we were a lot better at diversity on screen.
I was just talking about this with my sister. Yeah.
And I feel like even in that, it wasn't like, yo, they came from the streets. And do you know what I mean? It was like two middle-class black people.
Yeah.
They both worked as ad execs,
Mm-hmm.
etc., etc. Like where he lived, he had a great house and
Yeah.
you know what I mean, a great apartment. He was a rich guy and whatever.
Mm.
And it was, there was a lot more variety of stories, right? And a lot more, you know, a lot more things would get commissioned and get made. Whereas now it's like, oh, criminal, gang.
I have a weird theory. It was like, for me growing up in the 90s, I had a really good example and variation of black characters.
Yeah.
Maybe most of them were from America, but still, I was grabbing where I could. You know what I mean? I was like, I can see myself in this person and I can relate to this person, whatever. And then it became towards like the late 90s. And then I think everyone in Hollywood was like, wait, what are we doing here? We need to rein it back in. And then it was just like dead, silent, like no one was getting cast. And then
but even you think about the sitcoms. You think about the sitcoms.
Yeah,
there was always so
many.
Yeah, there was always like, if it wasn't the Cosby Show, it was Fresh Prince, it was Martin, and then you had My Wife and Kids.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and these were like affluent people. Like in My Wife and Kids, he owns a company. Do you know what I mean?
But to me, just normal. Like they weren't.
100%.
There was no trauma wrapped up in anything, and then they were just
having fun.
They were just having fun, living life, being humans.
But that's my issue with it. That's what I'm saying. Like, so back then, diversity was done a lot better, whereas now it's like, yo, council state, crime, violence.
But don't you think that's more of an agenda rather than because it's to spew out a particular stereotype? Because it's what you see. People.
I think it's more than just an agenda. I think it goes into like how cinema is funded these days, right? Mm-hmm. So less and less studios are taking risks, right? I've got a project. Why don't I get X rapper and X rapper and X rapper in it? Because that way I don't have to pay for promotion, because they'll just promote to their X number of followers and whatever. But what can I get these guys to do? I know, let's do a gangster film. Yeah. Do you see where I'm coming from? So it's like, rather than hiring actors and whatever, it's just much easier for me to hire a couple rappers, couple actors, and then the promotion takes care of itself, because once you have that, you know that this music channel on YouTube is going to promote it, this website is going to promote it. They're all going to ask for interviews with this rapper because he's in the film or whatever. Not necessarily just rapper, but you see what I'm saying? It's like,
a stereotype of what they...
Yeah, when you start branding it as the culture, and this is great culture, what happens is everybody within that culture ends up supporting and whatever. And
exactly.
Yeah, and then
which is guaranteed.
It becomes guaranteed success, right? Whereas if you're just like, yeah, we've got this fun film or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, it's new actors, or it's like people are just like,
I do think though that as a community, we've got the message and are taking things into our own hands and are trying to create our own content in order to kind of battle this, the glass ceiling or the people at the top.
Well, I mean, I think it's getting better in terms of things like Atlanta and
Insecure.
That's the one I was trying to get. Yeah, Insecure.
Love that show.
Those two are really like great shows. But yeah, I just feel like, because what you get with the democratization of content as well is that we're not going to get those cult classics in the same way. So people are very much happy to watch the things that they're interested in. So then the appetite to fund a film where it's just happy-go-lucky or whatever, unless it's got a big name behind it. So unless The Rock wants to do a version of like Boomerang in this day and age, it's not going to happen. We're not going to get it. And if you and it's the same reason all we get now in Hollywood is either remakes, or superhero films, because both of them play on thoughts of nostalgia. So for a lot of people, that's a guaranteed hit. So this generation that or the generation before that grew up watching comic books or cartoons about Iron Man, Spider-Man,
Yeah.
Y and Z, will now pay to watch films about Spider-Man and so on and
Yeah.
so forth. Whereas, yeah, and it's the same thing with remakes. When you saw it, when you begin with, you're like, now you've probably got kids. You're like, well, I liked it when I watched it. Let me see if my kids will like this one. So then that's how they've decided to generate an income that's guaranteed. So the idea of having the last time you probably saw an original film in cinemas it's always very few and far between. And
100%.
yeah, and it's always either a serious film that's got like a mad message behind it, or it's got a big name attached to it. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
If you're going on a serious rant, like
I'll stay up
to bring the band up, but yeah.
No, it's fine. Sometimes we've got to be serious. We've got to speak the truth. So no need to apologize about that. But going back to life, if you had to direct people to YouTube who hadn't watched the movie to watch one scene, what scene would it be and why?
There's too many. There's too many. Can't. Probably actually the bit where Ray's describing his nightclub.
Oh, that's a nice bit, yeah.
Yeah, when it starts off with them in the prison cell, and then they start, you see their imagination, and it builds on from that. And I think that's a nice scene. Either that or the Wyclef Jean song where it's going through the emotions there.
Yeah. I never got that like the first million times I watched it, and only when I watched it again I was like, that's Wyclef. I can hear Wyclef, but I just don't know why I didn't put the two and two together in my head.
Because he wasn't shouting Shakira, Shakira.
In my head, that's probably why. I think one of my scenes would be when they're all discussing what they did to get inside. And like Martin and Eddie are just making up, like they went on like a killing spree, and that's how they got.
Yeah, that is a nice.
You can literally tell they're lying. Like you could just tell they're just like, yeah, we killed everyone.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's a really nice scene as well, actually. But yeah, well, going back to the other one where he's reading the letter.
Yes, that would be my other one because it just. I just can't stop laughing every time I think about that scene. Freddie Mercury shines. In that. But that is it from me. Kae, you have been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure doing this.
Speak to someone about one of my favorite films.
Likewise. That and a lot. You've taken me down memory lane, like going back to watching films like Boomerang and stuff.
That's what we're here for. That is what we're here for. That's what we like to do.
Unless they're on like a streaming service I don't have a handle on, but yeah.
Yeah, it's quite difficult actually because we're screening it on Friday. Trying to track down a DVD, Blu-ray DVD was a myth, and you don't quite realize how old something like Boomerang is. It's like 1992.
Well, I mean, to me, like the idea of Blu-ray and DVD is old. So
like, yeah, these are the times that we're living in.
Yeah. So that's mad.
Yeah, so looking forward to seeing it on a cinema screen because I haven't actually seen it in that. It's always been at
Where
home.
is that going to be?
In Genesis in Mile End. You are more than welcome to come if you. I know you're busy, but
I'm South London.
South, okay. Yeah, everyone from South is always like, once it gets past London Bridge.
This is why we're angry. Everybody from South is always angry because it takes us hours to get everywhere, man. This is why we're all violent and stuff. Like you see us, like we've had to go through. So this is why we're all so with lockdown, it's made it even worse because now it's like, what, you want me to travel an hour for the fun?
I'm not gonna lie. I have to.
Why is the fun an hour away from me? Can you not have the fun on my doorstep, please?
Going to South is usually a trek as well. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Is it really? Do I have to? Is it worth it? Do I have to go? But yeah, that's all. But you are more than welcome to come.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So yeah, but thank you so much, and good luck with everything that you're doing, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Likewise.